everyone, and welcome to today's lesson. We are still on chapter 10. Yesterday we talked about how to simplify radicals, and today we're going to talk about how to multiply radicals. All right, so that's our goal for today. First off, let's talk about the 3 steps. So step 1 is to multiply outside numbers together. Step 2 is to multiply the radicals together, or inside numbers. And last step is to simplify our radical in the end. All right, so let's see what this looks like. So first one here, I don't have any outside numbers to multiply, so I just multiply the 2 insides together, and I get square root of 35. And I think about the numbers I can multiply to get 35. I have 1 and 35, and 5 and 7, but none of them are perfect squares, so this is as far as I go. All right, let's see how the second one here is a little bit different though. So inside with inside, we get square root of 16, and that is a perfect square, and the square root of 16 is 4, so that would be our final answer. All right, next one. Square root of 6 times square root of 2, multiply inside with inside, we get square root of 12. Now this is not a perfect square, however, this is like yesterday's lesson where we want to try to split the square root of 12 into 2 different squares. All right, so we know we want to divide it by a perfect square. So the perfect square that we can divide 12 by is the number 4, and 4 times 3 is 12. And then if you remember, we square root the one that we know. So we know the square root of 4, that goes outside, it's 2. Don't know the square root of 3, it stays. Final answer there is 2 square root of 3. All right, next one. Again, we're going to do 12 times 20. That gives us the square root of 240. And we have to find a number that we can divide 240 by, and it has to be a perfect square. Now, I'm guessing that there's a few, but let's say you don't know all of them and you just see the smallest one, which is 4. So 240 divided by 4 would be 60. Okay, so this is one option you could do. Square root of 4 is 2, and then we have the square root of 60. But that can go further. I know what the square root of 60 can also be divided by 4. That would be 4 times 15. So the square root of 4 is 2. So it's going to come out here and join my other 2. And when they're out there together, we multiply. So this would be 4 square root of not 60. We split that up, square root of 15. Now the quickest way of doing that one would have been to break up square root of 240 into 16. And 240 divided by 16 is 15. And then we would have gotten 4 square root of 15 a little bit faster. Either way though, we should have gotten 4 square root of 15. All right, this one we're going to throw in some outside numbers. That's okay. You just multiply outside with outside, so we get -6. And we do inside with inside, so 10 times 6 is 60. And then we're going to split up 60. We just said that that was 4 times 15. And the square root of 4 is 2, which that's going to come out here and join our -6. And that would be to multiply those, so we get -12. And we have the square root of 15 left. All right, go ahead and pause here and try this one on your own. All right, you should have done 5 times -1, which would have given you -5. 12 times 6 would have given you 72. Not a perfect square, but I can split it up. I think I'm going to divide it by, oh, there's a few of them. The biggest one, so you could do 9 times 8. That's not the biggest one. I'm going to go the more direct route this time. I know that you can divide 72 by 36. If you find the biggest one, remember it's the least amount of work. 9 and 8 will work, but then you have to go further with 8. All right, square root of 36 is 6. It's going to come out here and join my 5, and that means to multiply. So my answer here would be -30 square root of 2 as your final answer. Okay. Okay, so we're going to shift gears now. We did that with only numbers. We're going to start throwing in some variables here. So let's remind ourselves first off, how do we multiply variables? In these cases, we have monomials here. The rule is that we multiply coefficients, so the numbers out front. So that's step one. And second step is that we have to add our exponents. So these don't have any coefficients, so we just have to add our exponents. So this would be a to the, there's a ninja one there, a to the 5th. And then we had 3 b's, and there's another ninja one there, we would have b to the 4th. On the one below, we had that ninja one again, so that'd be m to the 4th. The n's, we had 2 ninja ones, there's one and there's one. We had 2 n's, n to the 2nd. And last, we have p to the 6th, 4 plus 2. All right, so let's apply that now to our radicals. So nothing outside, so I just need to multiply inside with inside. So 5 times 10, 50. We have a to the 2nd times a to the 5th. That gives us a to the 7th. And b to the 1st times b to the 1st gives us b to the 2nd. All right, again, this relates to yesterday's lesson. We're going to split square root of 50. We're going to do 25 times 2. 25 is a perfect square. That gives us 5. I don't know the square root of 2. That stays inside. And in terms of the variables, I'll do this for the first one. Remember, we expand it and we say how many pairs were there. So 4, 5, 6, 7. We had 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs. So pairs go out front, so that would be a to the 3rd. And then we had 1 a left over, that stays inside. For the b's, we had b times b. That was just 1 pair. Again, pairs go out front. Nothing was left over. So final answer here is 5 a to the 3rd b times the square root of 2a. All right, let's try another one here. Inside with inside, so this would be the square root of 100. We have x squared and we have y. 100 is a perfect square. It goes out front. That's 10. X squared, how many pairs? We have 1 pair, nothing left over. And then last, we have the square root of y. There are no pairs, so nothing comes out front, but we still have a y left over. That would be our final answer on that one. All right, next one, we got a lot of variables here. So we would have the square root. We have x to the 3rd when you add the x's. We have y to the 8th. And we have z to the 5th. All right, so let's look at how many pairs. X to the 3rd, that gives us 1 pair with 1 left over. Y to the 8th, that would give us 4 pairs, nothing left over. Z to the 5th, that would give us 2 pairs with 1 z left over. And that would be our final answer there. All right, feel free to pause here if you want to try this one on your own and then check. We're going to do outside with outside, so -10. Inside with inside, so 3 times 15 would give us 45, and then m to the 9th. 45, the square root, we can break it up into 9 times 5. The square root of 9 is 3. That's going to go join our -10, and remember we multiply. So this would be -30, and we still have the square root of 5. And then don't forget, we still have m to the 9th. How many pairs do we have? We have 4 pairs. Pairs go out front, and there was 1 left over. There's our final answer. All right, last one. Again, if you want to pause here and try this on your own, feel free. And here's what you should have gotten. Multiply outside with outside, so there's a -1 times 7. That'd be -7. Inside with inside, 8 times 3 is 24. We have a to the 6th when you add your exponents together, and b to the 2nd. All right, 24 can break up into 4 times 6. Square root of 4 is 2. That's going to go join our -7. Remember, you multiply. So we get -14 out front, and we still have the square root of 6. All right, let's do our variables here. We have a to the 6. That would give us 3 pairs of a's and no pairs left over, or nothing left over. B to the 2nd, that would just give us 1 pair. Again, nothing left over, so that would be our final answer. -14, a to the 3rd, b, square root of 6. That's it for the lesson today. There is homework posted on Schoology. Please message me if you have any questions. All right, see you guys.